Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming out on such a beautiful Christchurch winter's evening. As you've already heard, my name is Glen Dobson, and I'm the Safer Christchurch manager here in Christchurch, working with the City Council. Tonight I'll be talking about the negative effects of alcohol and how it is affecting Christchurch as a city itself. But first, I just thought I might give you a few other points about what I'll talk about tonight, what I'm about and what my role is about. First and foremost, I'm not here to talk about or advocate for prohibition. I enjoy a beer and I enjoy a wine, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. I don't consider myself a wowser at all, and I certainly don't advocate for a nanny state. I enjoy sport, I enjoy socialising with my friends, and I enjoy a beer and a wine when I'm doing that. But mostly of all, I guess what I want to say is that I'm really proud of the city of Christchurch. I'm really proud to be a Cantabrian, and I'm sick to death of the effects that the misuse of alcohol is having on us as a community and as a city. So what do we have here in Christchurch when we talk about the social side of drinking? We've just got some images here of what the social situation is for drinking alcohol here in Christchurch at the moment. And these images are the sort of images when we think about the central city around drinking alcohol. It's a happy environment, it's social, and this, to be fair, is a large proportion of how people socialise in Christchurch in a controlled environment with alcohol, and there are no issues. But these aren't the people we're concerned about. These aren't the people that I'll be talking about tonight. What I will be talking about is the not so obvious side of drinking alcohol in the central city and the misuse of alcohol and how it's affecting our city. What we have in Christchurch, the reality, is a real problem around the misuse of alcohol and younger people drinking. And these are good examples of why the drinking age needs to be raised. Not so it affects and changes how the 18-year-olds are drinking alcohol and misusing it, but how it affects and changes the 13 and 15-year-olds, and to create a positive cultural change towards how the younger people are drinking. We need to change how younger people get the access and supply of alcohol. Just some more images here of alcohol and how it affects our city at night time especially. And these aren't images that you have to go very far often in Christchurch in the weekends to find. We've got images here of vomit in the footpath, of bottles and glass broken in the gutters, of plants, a planter box being vandalised, of property damage, of urine flowing in the streets and the footpaths. And I use the word flowing quite deliberately because there is such a large amount of urine being going right across the city with the misuse of alcohol. And lastly, young females drinking to the state where they no longer have a certain amount of control over themselves, and unfortunately where they could become potential victims for sexual predators. This is the common sights not just in Christchurch but across the country in relation to the New Zealand binge drinking culture, the problems associated with the misuse of alcohol. One of the initiatives that the City Council has undertaken to try and improve the safety in the central city is the Safe City Officers. It's a program that's been going approximately 2 years now, and the main ideal behind the program is to have ambassadors out there in the city to try and increase people's perception of safety at night during the weekends, and try and help them to feel safe and enjoy the nighttime economy. Between July 2009 and December 2009, the Safe City Officers observed 1,863 breaches of the alcohol ban in the central city. Of those breaches of the alcohol ban, the officers had 90% compliance, and 90% of the times they convinced the people to comply with the alcohol ban, which is great because these Safe City Officers have no enforcement powers. They're simply there as an ambassador to try and get along beside the people and make them feel safer. They had 5,732 interventions with members of the public in 6 months, and over 90% of those interventions were directly related to alcohol and the associated negative behaviours with alcohol. So over 90% of the Safe City Officers' work is directly related to the negative impacts of misuse of alcohol. They cost the city, through the City Council, $453,000 a year. Talking about the the liquor ban that's in place here in Christchurch and also in numerous cities right across New Zealand. In the period 1 July 2009 to 28 February 2010, we had 861 arrests in the 8-month period, and 82% of those arrests were male. And as you can see there, over half were aged under 25 years. And a lot of the problem in relation to that is that we have a culture here in Christchurch and also across New Zealand of what's known as preloading. Preloading is a term that uses to say that people are now drinking more and more and more in their homes, at parties, in unsupervised areas, before they come into town. Before they start getting even more and more drunk, they'll preload first before they come into town. We had a survey that was done in Christchurch late last year, and that survey looked at people's preloading habits. Most preloaders were aged under 25 years. The under 20s drank the most amount of RTDs, those sweet lolly water drinks. Supermarkets were the most popular place to purchase alcohol before preloading, and the average amount of alcohol being consumed by these people prior to coming to town, the average amount was 10 standard drinks. That equates to 1.5 bottles of wine, or approximately 8 bottles of beer, or approximately half a 700ml bottle of spirits. And that's on average, before they come into town, before they drink more alcohol. These are some of the observations in the central city after dark. We see high levels of public intoxication, many breaches of the alcohol ban, preloading, as I spoke about before, large numbers of intoxicated people moving between precincts, bumping into each other and causing disorder problems, many bottles litter around a lot of the fast food outlets, and party buses dropping people off in the town in an intoxicated state, all impacting negatively on a city, and all have alcohol, or the misuse of alcohol, as the common denominator. Speaking of party buses, between July and December 2009, the Safe City officers observed 282 party buses coming into the central city and unloading passengers. In that period, they observed 3,194 intoxicated passengers directly coming off the party buses and coming into our central city. They saw 395 breaches of the liquor ban in the area they were dropped off, and 543 incidents of passengers urinating in the immediate area straight after they come off the bus, and also 11 fights. These are people getting intoxicated in large groups and then being dropped off in the central city and carrying on further drinking and misusing alcohol. That's an example of what the misuse of alcohol is doing to our brilliant city, Christchurch here. Christchurch is a much better city than that, and I think as a community and as a city we can do a lot better. Thank you.